telescope is an extension of its owner that allows us to peer into the universe to see nature on the grandest scale, with wonders that boggle the imagination. Okay, this is a Galaxy log for another day I had in January. It was on the 26th, and I have the subtitle called Icy Dicey. And the reason is because we had a bit of an ice storm a few days earlier, and was hoping that the parking lot where we set up at was going to be clearer, but when we got up there, it was a bit of ice and snow a lot, so it was kind of treacherous a little bit. And I was going to take the 12-inch, but I decided to take the smaller 8.2-inch job, which I think was a good idea, especially when we got up to the lot. And the night wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. So I kind of stuck to some brighter galaxies then, ones that had not only high magnitude, but also pretty good surface brightness. The sky conditions aren't as good as you hope. You get galaxies that have, even if they have a fairly high magnitude, say, 9th or 10th magnitude or something like that, or 11th magnitude, if they have a low surface brightness, they're not going to fare very well in the telescope if the sky conditions aren't excellent. So the first one I went to was actually the brightest galaxy of this Galaxy log, and it's a very bright galaxy. It's NGC 2681 in Ursa Major. And here's a closer up view from Stellarium Web of where the galaxy is located. Pretty easy to find if you're using non-GO2 scope. And here it is. Here's my near view image. You can see it's very bright. This is data course Ursa Major. Here's the particulars. It's really bright. Has a nice high surface brightness, decent size. Here's its type. It's an SAB. Here's its distance. So it's a close by galaxy, as far as galaxy is concerned. Scope was the 8.2-inch f3.9 with a coma corrector. The eyepiece was a 7mm, gave me 127 magnification. And I had the sky conditions as just fair. Also, this was a good part of the sky at this dark side location, so I was able to get a pretty good view of it. And you can see it has a very bright inner region core area and a really nice standout stellar nucleus. And then it has this very faint round outer region. That actually, it wasn't hard to see. Like I said, the contrast that night, because the transparency was a little off, it made it a little harder. But using averted vision, and it helped really the galaxy's outer disk to grow, so you were able to see it. It's a galaxy I really want to go back to with some other scopes, whether it's a smaller scope like, say, my 120mm Apo, or larger scope like the 12-inch. I want to go back to it and on a better night, maybe even a darker location, to get a better view of this galaxy. But it did stand out pretty well. I mean, if you waited for a moment, it's a good scene. The scene was actually pretty good, actually, should I say. But I did spend some time with it, and I think even on this night with a smaller scope, even if I had my 4-inch achromat, certainly the 4.7-inch Apo would have showed it really well The Galaxy is that bright. It does stand out well. So if you do have a smaller scope and a fairly decent dark side you're observing from, this Galaxy should be no problem to see in a smaller scope. So highly recommend it. Okay, our next galaxy, we stay in Ursa Major, and I thought it was an interesting galaxy. It's NGC 2787. Here's a closer up view where the galaxy lies. Very easily found if you're just doing star hopping. And here's the near view image. And here are the particulars of this galaxy. It's fairly bright. It's 10.8 magnitude. Got a surface brightness of 12.6. Pretty decent size. It's an SBO type galaxy. And here's its distance, 35 million light years, which is very similar to the previous galaxy, 2681. Also used the 7mm eyepiece here, 127 magnification. The first thing I noticed was the galaxy had this little stellar nucleus. And the inner core region, the inner part of the galaxy, had a little bit of a elongation to it. And if you look at a photograph of this galaxy, there's some inner structure there. I wasn't resolving that inner structure, but I think it gave that galaxy this kind of elongated view in its inner core region. And then you could see a faint outer region also, especially with the averted vision, which I think would have stood out a bit better if the transparency was a little better. But the galaxy at 12.8 and 12.6 surface brightness and fairly decent size should be seen in a smaller scope. A 6-inch reflector or 4-inch refractor should have no problem picking this galaxy up, particularly if the sky conditions are better. But it's an interesting galaxy to go for. I will go for this galaxy again, and with a larger scope on hopefully a much better night, and use a little bit higher magnification to see what other kind of structure I can see in this galaxy. But it's a good one to go for. So the final galaxy for this galaxy log headed south into Hydra, and it's NGC 2974. There was a window of about 10 to 15 minutes where the sky transparency got a little bit better. I thought, okay, this is a good time to go for it. I planned on going for this galaxy in Galaxy Log. So I thought, oh, it's a good opportunity to go for it. Here's a closer up view of where 2974 lies. And you can see here on Stellarium Web, there's a fairly bright star on its edge. It's around 9.5 magnitude or so. Here's the new view image. It's fairly bright, 10.9 magnitude. Surface brightness isn't too bad at 13. Decent size. It's an E4 type galaxy, and it's much farther out than the previous two galaxies at 90 million light years. With this view, I used the 5mm eyepiece, the 178 magnification. I think it helped a little bit in increasing the sky contrasts, and not really taking anything away from the galaxy itself. Also, the star, this 9.5 magnitude star, it kind of inhibits the view a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. I was able to concentrate more on the galaxy. And the galaxy has like this oval shape, a fairly large inner core, fairly bright inner core region. Not a stellar nucleus. I didn't see a stellar nucleus, but I thought that it made for an interesting view. The star had a little bit of a goldish tinge to it, a little bit of color to it. Lies in a pretty neat field, but obviously the star, the bright star here, stands out a bit with the galaxy, and I thought it made an interesting pairing. Be a good one to go for with the larger scope, but I think my 120 millimeter Apo would give it a really nice view of this galaxy also. So I might return to this galaxy again with either the larger scope or even the smaller scope. But it's a good Galaxy in the northern part of Hydra to go for, and I think also with a larger scope, the color, a bit more color in the star will stand out, so make an interesting pairing. Okay, this is a brief summary of this Galaxy log. First, we'll talk about the dark site and the sky conditions. About a week or so prior to this night, we had a bit of snow. Then a day or two before this night, we had a little bit of an ice storm. So the parking lot had like this compact snow with a little bit of ice on top. So it was a little bit treacherous, hence my subtitle of Icy Dicey. So I thought it was a wise move to take up the smaller scope. And, you know, much easier to set up, of course. And if I did fall, better to fall with a smaller scope than it is a larger, more expensive scope. So, but no, yeah, I was careful, and it turned out not too bad as far as footing. I just wish the sky conditions were a little better. I said there was maybe one or two times during the night that the sky conditions got a little bit better, but for the most part, it was generally fair. And here's a Google Earth shot of the area at night. And it's funny, I wanted to take a picture of the scope and the ground, the surroundings like that, but I totally forgot to do that. I packed up the scope and I said, oh, darn, forgot to take a picture. So here's an older picture of the scope on dry conditions and no snow or ice. And it's the Bresser 8.2-inch f3.9 with a GSO coma corrector, with a Rigel quick finder, and the knob is an Astro Goods custom mount. Really nice. It works really, really well. I really enjoy this combo. Eyepieces for NGC 2681 and NGC 2787 was the Celestron Excel LX 7mm. And for NGC 2974 was the Skywatcher. They have as an ultra wide angle, but it's not really ultra wide. 58 degree field, so it's not too bad. But we would consider this being, you know, an extremely wide field eyepiece. Good eyepiece though. It was a nice eyepiece. It actually came with the my Skywatcher 120 ED Apo, so it's a nice eyepiece. So that's it for this Galaxy log. Clear dark skies and happy galaxy observing.